The Objective News Network? The Proud Boys. Did they deserve such long prison sentences? Hello, everyone. This is John Hnatio reporting for the Objective News Network. Welcome to our broadcast. Here at ONN, we use an advanced, non-human in the loop software called authentication to gather facts from only credible sources and to conduct logically unassailable analyses of the news stories of the day. On January 5th and 6th, 2021, called to action by former President Donald Trump, thousands of supporters gathered in Washington, D.C. to support the claim that the 2020 election had been stolen and to demand that Vice President Mike Pence and Congress reject Biden's victory. Starting at noon on January 6th, at a Save America rally on the Ellipse, Trump gave a speech in which he repeated his claims of election irregularities and encouraged his supporters to march to the Capitol to peacefully, and I underscore the word peacefully, make their voices heard, saying to the crowd, if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. During and after his speech, thousands of attendees, admittedly some armed, walked to the Capitol, where a phalanx of militant agitators in that crowd breached police perimeters and broke through the glass windows to enter the Capitol building as Congress was beginning the electoral vote count. Local news media reported that there were at least 40 undercover federal agents in the crowd that marched on the Capitol. The FBI hasn't confirmed one way or the other the actual number of undercover agents that may have participated in inciting the Proud Boys to engage in violence that day. After the agitators cleared the pathway, more than 2,000 rioters followed them and entered the building, led by Proud Boys, many of whom vandalized and looted parts of the building, including the offices of then House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and other members of Congress. Agitators also assaulted Capitol police officers and reporters, and they even attempted to locate lawmakers so that they could capture them. A gallows was erected on the west side of the Capitol, and some rioters chanted, "Hang Mike Pence, hang Mike Pence, hang Mike Pence," after he rejected claims by President Trump and others that the vice president had the authority and could overturn the election results. With building security breached, Capitol Police evacuated and locked down both chambers of Congress and several buildings in the Capitol complex. Rioters occupied the empty Senate chamber, and while federal enforcement officers defended the evacuated House floor, pipe bombs were found at both the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee headquarters, and Molotov cocktails were discovered in a vehicle near the Capitol. On November 5th, 2020, 2 days after the presidential election, Oath Keeper leaders began communicating about a civil war. The Oath Keepers group encourages its members to disobey orders, which they believe would violate the U.S. Constitution. And they aligned with the Proud Boys and also engaged in the January 6th riot. On November 9th, Oath Keeper leaders held an online members-only video conference in which their leader, Stuart Rhodes, outlined a plan to stop the transfer of power, including preparations for using force to accomplish the goal. Oath Keepers plan to store an arsenal with a quick reaction force in nearby Alexandria, Virginia. The leaders planned to procure boat transportation so that the bridge closures that might result could not prevent their entry into the District of Columbia and the area around the Capitol. On December 19th, Oath Keepers leader Kelly Meggs placed a call to Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio. On December 30th, the leadership of both organizations received a document entitled 1776 Returns, which called for the occupation of crucial buildings on January 6th and argued for supporters to storm the Winter Palace, close quote. On January 3rd and 4th, Proud Boys leadership explicitly discussed attacking the Capitol. During the rally on January 6th, President Trump was reportedly told that some of his supporters may be armed, but he insisted they be allowed to enter the rally to march on the U.S. Capitol. The Department of Justice later said in January 2022, in an official statement, that over 75 people had been charged in relation to the attack while entering a restricted area with a dangerous or deadly weapon, including some armed with guns, stun guns, knives, batons, baseball bats, axes, and even chemical sprays. Here in America, our system of justice requires, however, that we consider any person innocent until they are proven guilty in a court of law. In fact, the presumption of innocence is among the most sacred principles in the entire American judicial system. The concept of being innocent until proven guilty means that anybody accused of a crime is assumed innocent until the allegations leveled against them are proven. This includes former President Donald Trump. The fact that he has been indicted should not be considered as proof of any guilt at all. So, we're not going to try to make any judgments in that regard in this story. We know nothing about any connections or communications between President Trump and either the Oath Keepers or the Proud Boys that would prove President Trump pre-planned the violence that took place on January 6th. For all we know, the former president may have believed that it would remain a peaceful protest. These matters should be judged in a court of law, not in the court of public opinion and through a politically weaponized media. Thus, it would be irresponsible for us to report based on conjecture rather than proven genuine issues of fact what is true and what is not true. Instead, we're going to focus on those people who have already been tried and convicted based on evidence that they have knowingly, willfully, and intentionally conspired to use violence on January 6, 2021 to explicitly prevent the peaceful transition of power from a sitting president to the president-elect. The genuine issues of fact that have already been heard by juries in many courts of law that are members of one particular group or two agitators conspired to occupy the Capitol building to prevent the certification of the vote that would have transferred power from a president to a new president-elect. These groups call themselves the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Proud Boys. The Proud Boys are an exclusively male North American far-right neo-fascist militant organization that promotes and engages in violence, political and otherwise. The group's leaders have been convicted of violently opposing the U.S. government, including constitutionally prescribed powers that relate to the transfer of power. The Proud Boys have been designated as a terrorist group in Canada and New Zealand. They are well known for their opposition to left-wing and progressive groups and for their support of former U.S. President Donald Trump and the use of violence to achieve their goals. Members have participated in overtly racist events and events centered around fascist, anti-left, and anti-socialist violence. The Southern Poverty Law Center has called the group, quote, alt-right fight club, close quote, and a hate group that uses rhetorical devices to obscure its real motives. The Combating Terrorism Center at West Point characterizes the Proud Boys as a radical organization that uses political violence to achieve its ends. Here, in The Guardian, they published a Proud Boys detailed plan for the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol that includes violence. The plan is terribly self-indicting. Based on the genuine issues of already proven fact, we can draw some very important conclusions about the Proud Boys and the January 6th attack on Capitol Hill. For example, take the major premise. The Proud Boys meticulously planned the attack on Capitol Hill. The minor premise. The plan specifically called for the use of violence to achieve political ends. Conclusion, the Proud Boys are a terrorist organization. Major premise, the Proud Boys intentionally tried to prevent the peaceful transition of power. Minor premise, the Proud Boys used violence against the constitutionally prescribed activities of the U.S. government. Our government. They are guilty of crimes ranging from seditious conspiracy, assault on federal officers and the police, rioting, trespass to commit violence, and numerous other violent and non-violent crimes. So in the end, we can objectively, based on genuine issues of fact, conclude that the harsh prison sentences handed out to members of the Proud Boys are completely justified. It is what it is. Thank you for watching. Please tell your family, friends, colleagues, and followers about us. You can see a demonstration of authentication here at this URL to see how we use it in the background to try and provide you with only truthful, validated information upon which we can draw logically unassailable conclusions. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you the next time.